down, drops to throw. Given time, lofts one up top, intercepted by Mooney Ward. Deontay Johnson slipped and fell. Ward went up and picked it off.
From afar, watching him, he's always been like that guy, So, we've been chopping it up a lot, talking ball, talking life in general. He a great dude for sure. Great person to be around. His work ethic and, film study routine, everything that he do, is pretty good. So,
I mean, it just shows we're a real good defense and a real good team. And at the end of the day, we got to get over that hump and beat the good teams. You know what I'm saying? In the league, they've been Super Bowl contenders for the past 7-8 years. So we got to kind of get over that. To get over that hump to be a great team, we got to beat the best teams. And I feel like we this close, but we not there yet.
Here, Indiana move. We from Indiana move. We some Indiana move. I'm an Indiana move.
The ball, there's a fumble. Who's got it? The officials say the Colts do.
Great team win, baby!
Lobs it way downfield, intercepted, coming forward and making the INT for the Colts in the back end.
To see the Colts win Super Bowl.
Hey, win on 3. 1, 2, 3, win!
As Colts fans, we all know what kind of defense Lou Anarumo wants to play. He wants to play man coverage and then do all kinds of weird shit underneath that, whether it be blitzing linebackers and dropping defensive ends into coverage, moving safeties all around, doing all kinds of weird, interesting things on defense, which I absolutely love. But last year, Lou Anarumo was kind of handcuffed because he didn't have the cornerbacks that he wanted or needed when it came to running the defense that he wanted to have. Now we brought in Travarius Ward. We drafted Justin Wally. We had Kenny Moore. We traded for Mekhi Blackman. All really good to solid players, but then things happen. Mekhi Blackman kind of still new. Kenny Moore, a little bit older at the time, couldn't really play the type of man coverage we wanted. Justin Wally got hurt in training camp. Travarius Ward only played 7 games. We had Xavier Howard. That was a disaster. Our pass defense, it's hard to discuss how good or bad our pass defense was last year because we had so many injuries, and then the replacements were so bad that it took forever to kind of find a good fit. And at the time, that's why they probably traded for Sauce Gardner. That's why they felt comfortable giving up 2 first-round picks to bring in Sauce Gardner, who was a under 25, multiple-time first-team All-Pro cornerback. You need that kind of player. You need a guy that can shut down a wide receiver one or shut down one side of the field. But for Lou Anarumo to run the defense that he wants to run, to really unlock the things that he wants to do, you almost have to have 2 of those guys. Now, I know that Sauce Gardner can be that guy. I know he's still that guy. I don't understand why there's this kind of movement of saying Sauce Gardner isn't a top 5 cornerback anymore. He's barely a top 10 cornerback. When he played last year, he was great. He was legit. He was shut down. People were so focused on the Colts' massive losing streak to really pay attention to how Sauce Gardner played. Sauce Gardner was fine. He wasn't a problem. But for this year coming up, like I was saying, for this defense to be really unlocked and to really go to the next level, there's 2 things that need to happen. One, we need to have somebody on the other side of Laiatu Latu develop and become a guy. The second, Travarius Ward needs to be healthy, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Travarius Ward played 7 games last year. He missed half the season due to concussions on and off the field. And he kind of flirted with retirement, which, as I've stated before on this channel multiple times, if Travarius Ward would have retired because of how bad his concussions were, peace be with you, man. I have no problems. I will never get on this channel and say that he's soft or he quit or anything. The way that he described his concussions and what we know about concussions and what we know about CTE, if he wanted to just walk away and be with his family for the rest of his life and walk away from football and be at peace with that, I'm at peace with it too, and I'm not going to say anything negative about it. But when he played and when he was healthy, he was 8th. And this is based on PFF. I know some people don't like PFF, but they're pretty solid. Like, they watch a lot of football. They break down a lot of film. They know a little bit more than the average fan does. Like, anyway, I'm not here to defend PFF. They're not paying me or anything. But he was the 8th ranked cornerback according to PFF, 7th in coverage grade. Like, and having a player like Javarius Ward on the other side of Sauce Gardner, when you look at our schedule and look at some of the teams that we have to play, a majority of the teams that we play only have one wide receiver one that you need to like really game plan for. They got one guy, like the Vikings. It's like Justin Jefferson. Like, he's the guy that you need to focus on. So that is where Sauce Gardner is going to be. Sauce Gardner is going to take the number one receiver on most of the teams that we play on this upcoming schedule. But we do have a few games where there are 2 legit wide receiver ones. I'm talking about like playing the Cowboys. They have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, who are wide receiver ones in their own right. And then we have the Bengals, who have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who are both, on any other team, both are wide receiver ones. And that's where you need that second guy where it's like, okay, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Sauce Gardner, that's your job. You got to take away those wide receiver ones. But you don't want to put a Justin Wally or Kenny Moore when he was on the team, or Mekhi Blackman. You don't want to put average guys or unproven guys on other wide receiver ones. This is where Javarius Ward is going to make his money. This is where you look back at that Chris Ballard sign and you say, I'm so thankful that we have him. Because, yeah, Sauce Gardner could take away Jamar Chase. Sauce Gardner could take away CeeDee Lamb. But if George Pickens goes off for 220, if T. Higgins goes off for $150 and 3 touchdowns, then who cares if those other guys were shut down and we still lose the game? But we have Javarius Ward, who is able, he is a cornerback one. And when we signed him, in my belief, he was at bare minimum a top 20 cornerback in this league. And whenever he played last year, he still showed that he could be a shutdown corner. And I feel so much better about this defense, knowing that we have 2 number 1 corners out there, Sauce Gardner, Javarius Ward. Now, you can look all over the NFL. You're not going to find 5 better cornerback tandems than what we have. And you throw Cam Bynum out there, you throw AJ Halsey out there with his development, and hopefully we get a pass rush. This is going to be something that I'm going to kind of look into and kind of start researching and trying to figure out. But if Sauce Gardner, Javarius Ward, and Cam Bynum can stay healthy, this should be, at bare minimum, a top 10 pass defense. There shouldn't be a lot of guys just running wide open. And then when you consider that we got rid of Zaire Franklin, we didn't bring back Jermaine Pratt, some of the worst coverage linebackers in the NFL, this defense is only going to get better. And like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of teams you can say about, you can say it a lot about a lot of players if they stay healthy, Like, you could say that about a lot of teams. If the Chiefs stay healthy, if Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, the Chiefs will be good. If Lamar Jackson can stay healthy, if Derrick Henry can stay healthy, we get it. So I'm going to try to stop saying if they can stay healthy, because that applies to every team because injuries happen. But on paper, this should be a top 10 pass defense. And I don't see why it shouldn't be. Now, maybe teams wide receiver threes, go off and get 100 yards. But if you're getting beat by a wide receiver 3, I feel like you kind of deserve to lose. Like Lou Anarumo is going to figure out how to shut down a wide receiver 3 or a pass offense in general if he knows for a fact that the guys on the outside are going to shut down the wide receivers. You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it. So another thing I wanted to talk about is the Colts have been, it's been put out by Tyrion Arnold's lawyer during a Zoom deposition that the Colts are interested in bringing in Tyrion Arnold. He got released from the Lions. He's a 23-year-old, and he was arrested on felony charges, kidnapping, and armed robbery. So based on the things that based on the report that I read, It appears like he and a couple of his friends got robbed for their jewelry and some money. Now, let me see if I can actually find a little bit more. In February, Arnold, this is from CBS Sports. In February, Arnold and some of his friends were robbed during a stay in Largo, Florida. Multiple items were allegedly stolen, including $100,000 in cash and an $80,000 necklace. Police were called, and the group reported more than $250,000 in property losses. The group then decided to take matters into their own hands and gathered 3 men they believed were responsible for the robbery. Those 3 men, who were actually apparently innocent of robbing Arnold and his friends, were allegedly jumped, pistol whipped, held at gunpoint, and had personal property taken. Arnold was not present for the assault, but police say he was able to watch what happened via a live stream. Investigators now claim that Arnold was a primary conspirator. So, based on what we've heard, like, based on the charges and what they're accusing him of, the idea that Chris Ballard would still kind of be interested and kind of sniffing around him, it makes sense when you know what the NFL is about. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've had, my eyes, locked in on what the Lions are doing defensively. I know the Lions have been a great team the last 3 to 5 years, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know that their pass defense was elite. Now, I remember Terry Arnold from Alabama, and I know he played well there. I'm not exactly sure how well he played in the NFL. I'm not going to lie and sit here and say that I do. But when you know about the NFL, they really don't care what you do off the field if you produce on the field. And the fact that the Colts and multiple other teams have inquired about his services after being released and charged with multiple felonies, that tells me that this player is still good. Now, what surprises me is that Chris Ballard would do this after the Isaiah Rodgers situation, where he released Isaiah Rodgers for gambling on our team to win. So I don't know how he's going to be able to justify, if he can, I don't know how he's going to be able to justify bringing Terry and Arnold into our locker room, while on the other hand, telling Isaiah Rodgers he has to go. I just don't know where Terry and Arnold honestly fits with this team, right? Sauce Gardner, cornerback 1. Javarius Ward, cornerback 1B. Then you got Justin Wally, who you spent a high draft pick on, who was the starter before he got hurt. And then you have Mekhi Blackman, who is a productive player who got a lot of experience last year. And then Cam Mitchell. So it's like, does Terry and Arnold come in and supplant Justin Wally? Does he come in and become cornerback 4 in the dime package? Like, you can get him. You can get him for cheap. Terry and Arnold would be an open box special, where it's just like, hey, this guy's getting paid next to nothing, and he is good. So most teams in the NFL, if you can get high production with low cost, that's the best thing that you want to have. Because a lot of teams, that's why teams are always looking for a great quarterback to perform on that rookie contract. Because if they can produce while they're cheap, then you can spend more money elsewhere. Because once you have to pay that quarterback, now it's like, okay, now we can't spend too much on another wide receiver, another defensive weapon. So you want that small cost with high production. And apparently that's what Terry Arnold could give the Colts. Now, do I want him on the team? I'm fine with it. He seems like a little bit of a, loose cannon, irresponsible, to go out there and try to rob people that you thought robbed you was kind of extremely immature and incredibly dangerous. Like, he could have been killed. His friends could have been killed. The people that they allegedly robbed could have been seriously injured and killed. It's just not good judgment. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to the NFL, it's all about, can you produce on the field? And as long as you're doing that, as long as teams think you can do that, they will give you another chance. And I think Terry and Arnold is going to get another chance. I have a hard time seeing Chris Ballard sitting, having a press conference trying to explain this. Even going to Carly Ursay-Gordon, how do you explain this to her after you released Isaiah Rodgers for just gambling? Gambling on the Colts. Gambling on the Colts to win. Like, how do you you're talking about both sides of your mouth. So, like I said, I think Terrion Arnold will play in the NFL again. I just don't think he plays for the Colts. So let me know in the comments, do you guys think we should bring him in? And how do you guys feel about my assertion that the Colts will have a top 10 pass defense? Let me know in the comments so we can talk about it, and I'll see you on the next one. Go Colts. Big.